Hello, welcome to the Channels Book Club. It's a platform for books, writers, authors, readers, publishers, book businesses, and everything in between. Get ready for some interesting interviews, discussions, book events, competitions, and the latest updates from the literary world.
You see, life has just got easier. You stay connected to Channels TV, where news and innovations are shaping our world. Simply log on to channelstv.com to get the breaking news. Browse the homepage according to what matters to you. Tap on the extended coverage of business, sports, politics, lifestyle, infotech, entertainment, health, world news, and lots more. Click on the live link and see the news in real time. Do you want to watch the latest video of the day? It's just a click away. Friend us on Facebook, YouTube, follow us on Twitter, Google+, participate in Channels TV poll, and share your comments. It's a website you can talk to. Your voice will be heard. ChannelsTV.com. The news at your fingertips.
Welcome back. Port Harcourt has won the bid for the UNESCO World Book Capital City for 2014. This is a fantastic development for Nigeria. If we celebrate the hosting of international sports and political events, then we have got to celebrate this. Coco Kalango, a remarkable Nigerian woman, has a lot to do with the winning of that bid. She is the founder of the Rainbow Book Club, Port Harcourt, the convener of the annual Garden City Literary Festival, and one of the foremost advocates of promoting the book culture in Nigeria. We caught up with her to talk about herself, the World Book Capital City bid, the book culture in Nigeria, and her new book, A Coat of Many Colors. Here's Coco Kalango.
We decided to put in a bid for Port Harcourt to be World Book Capital, and we had other cities vying, like Oxford, Lyon in France, Incheon, North Korea, Yaoundé, Cameroon, and a few others, and we emerged the winner.
Coco is an award-winning writer and national columnist, wife and mother, with a passion for positive change in the society through education.
We hold the title in the year of Nigeria's centenary celebration, 2014. So if you ask me, I think that should be made the main focus, education and books of our centenary celebration. I think it's a good opportunity. And over the years, we've talked about rebranding Nigeria. What a better time, and what a unique way to rebrand Nigeria in an area for which we stand tall anywhere in the world, having produced the first African to win the Nobel Prize for Literature, having given the world the writer of Africa's most popular novel, Chinua Achebe, not to talk of the other many stars in the literary horizon, the John Pepe Clarks, Elechi Amadis, Chimamanda Adichie, Chibundu Onuzo, just so many, Buchi Emecheta, Zainab Alkali. So there's just so much. It is big, I think.
Coco Kalango, founder, Rainbow Book Club.
We've done several programs and activities over the years. We have established or helped to establish book clubs in schools. Port Harcourt and River State as well, outside Port Harcourt, both at the primary and the secondary school level. But I think the most fulfilling for me, I keep using that word, is book clubs I started in rural communities in Bonny local government area. Went into the disadvantaged communities and started trying to run book clubs there. And it was a summer holiday, a long drawn out summer. The children are at home, very rainy. And, I thought, what can we do? So we went out there. But when we reached there, we discovered that most of the children could not read very well. We're dealing with primary and secondary age children. So we stepped back and first engaged an expert to teach the children how to read through phonics. And then she did that for a month, and after, we now came in with the book club concept and a mobile library concept as well, which was very creative. I just put my children's books in the boot of the car and drive into those communities and, create a sort of ad hoc library where the children can read the books for an hour, 2 hours, and put them back into my boot and take them. Yeah, so indeed, the setting up and running of book clubs in schools, in secondary school, and the Garden City Literary Festival, which is an idea of the governor of Rivers State actually, which he called us and asked us to help him implement. So that is a very important part of the state calendar and the calendar for the nation, because people come from all over. So we have an active segment there, workshop for children as well as adults. We have the Rainbow Book Club itself has meetings monthly around our book of the month. Every month we choose a book to focus on. We encourage our friends and our members to read, and we generate discussion around that book for development of society. But perhaps all this, what the greatest, should I say most visible reward to us is our recent nomination of Port Harcourt as UNESCO World Book Capital come 2014. So perhaps that's the greatest visible impact we've been able to make in Port Harcourt.
A Coat of Many Colors, compiled and edited by Coco, is more than a coffee table book.
It's easy to access. Students, people at primary school level, secondary and tertiary education level, including adults, the general public, can have a glimpse into Nigeria's literary heritage.
It is an important book on Nigerian authors and literature that should grow into volumes for years to come. Dubbed Africa's biggest culture picnic, the Lagos Book and Art Festival is one with a heavy book content aimed at building knowledge capacity of the people of Africa.
It was started in the year of the return to democracy, 1999. We thought that that was a very hopeful year. We were returning to freedom. But for true freedom, you've got to be literate to really take advantage of, the freer space. There has to be people who could contribute to the national conversation, people who could translate, people who are educated enough to take advantage of what the improvement in the economy that democracy will bring. And that's why we went for the Lagos. We initiated the Lagos Book and Art Festival.
The festival parades works of eminent Nigerian thinkers and literary activists.
More than ever before, the question of the books and literature in the country needs to be given the necessary exposure that is needed so that the whole of this society, can't actually begin to function appropriately. And you can't take civilization and functionality outside of the question of the book and intelligence.
I was here last year. I helped with the children's programs, and this year I'm doing more adult contemporary stuff too, book readings and stuff like that. I'm here because I love books, and this, as far as I'm concerned, is the biggest book festival in Nigeria presently that's actually focuses on Nigeria and Nigerian writing, which is something really fantastic, really.
I like to be at places like this. It's an opportunity to socialize, get inspiration, just be out and appreciate other people's works as well.
The festival has become an important destination for families, children, and even lovers.
We really like books, and we've been buying books and looking at some of the different books and stuff that are available, and watching some of the performers, and learning a little bit more about the culture in Nigeria. We've only been here a month, and it's a good opportunity for us to learn about the literature and culture here.
I don't really like reading books too much, but I prefer the drawing aspect, and sometimes...
Why don't you like reading books?
I read books, but not like... I don't like... It's not a hobby. It doesn't come naturally. I just... Like, except some specific kind of books, like sometimes... School books, comics, storybooks. But I just don't take books that I just start reading.
I got to know about the book fair. I'm a book fan. I love books. I love to read. When I heard about it, I thought I could come around and see if I can get some books for children. I love teaching children to read. Well, I must say I expected more books, more stuff. I didn't see as much as I wanted, but I think it's good.
It is hoped that the festival continues to be a source of inspiration to generations of Nigerians.
Which book are you reading now? We went out to ask a few Nigerians that question, and the responses were interesting.
We don't have access to print media, to books, as much as before. You know, now we have, we're in the computer age. We all have phones, gadgets, iPads and stuff. So people tend to want to read less. Back in the day, you could pick up a newspaper, read the news. Now you just put on the TV. You don't need to read the papers anymore. So reading has dropped, but we know why. But for those who love reading, you know, they can still engage in it.
We're in front of Glendora and Quintessence. These are popular bookstores here in Falomo. Have you been into those bookshops before?
No, I've not.
Why not?
I don't really cross this side, so I've not been there before.
Or you visit bookshops generally to buy books and all that?
I do. I'm close to CMS. One popular bookshop there. That's where I buy my books.
They say Nigerians don't read. What do you think?
Well, I don't believe. I mean, there are classes of people that, you know, depending on the class. Some, you know, depending on the class you are, some don't see reading, you know, as something, as a culture. But there are some people, of course, maybe because of their profession, sees reading as a culture.
What do you do?
I sell cars.
Cards?
Porsche cars.
Cars? Okay, is there a book you are reading currently?
The history of my products. That's a book.
The history of your cars. What kind of book is that?
Okay, I think it starts from when Porsche actually started existing in the 1940s, the founder of Porsche and all the other models and the philosophy of the company and where it is today, its principles and what he expects from his employees. That's the book I'm currently.
That sounds very interesting. What's your reading habit like generally?
Habits for fun, I could do anything I see. I could do comics, I could do novels, I could do motivational books. So basically I think it depends on my mood and what I come across.
Every day you invite us to your home. Now we invite you to our homepage. Join Channels TV on social media. Hang out with us on Google Plus/Channels Television. Follow us on Twitter.com/Channels TV_NG. Friend us on Facebook.com/Channels Forum. And don't forget to like our page. That's not all. Subscribe to our YouTube channels, youtube.com/channelsweb to get constant video updates on news and events in Nigeria and around the world. ChannelsTV.com, the news at your fingertips.
At the 14th Lagos Book and Arts Festival, we asked Ace Radio presenter Wana Wana and veteran writer Mrs. Modope Adenubi on their views about the winning of the World Book Capital City bid by Port Harcourt. Here's what they had to say.
I congratulate Nigeria. It's a wonderful thing. It's coming to Nigeria, and it's a great thing. When you go out to other parts of Africa and you meet writers, particularly at like Harare book fairs all over Africa, you know for sure that Nigerians kind of overwhelm all the writers. There are many more writers that are Nigerian in Africa than there are in other parts of Africa. So, yes, I'm glad that it is happening here in Nigeria.
It's about time. That's all I can say. It's about time. I mean, I live in Lagos, so I wish it was in Lagos. But of course, I do think Port Harcourt has done a tremendous job to actually push for it and to get it. We have too many stories in this country. This place is Storyville for me. If I had a conversation with someone once, and the person said, if you're a writer, this is a place that Nigeria is a place that you should be. So for Port Harcourt to win that is amazing.
The Lagos Book and Arts Festival conducted a poll to come up with the top Nigerian books for 2012. Here are the books and their authors. Fine Boys by Ehosa Emaswen. The Funeral Did Not End by Silva Nze Efedigbo. Bonfires of the Gods by Andrew Ese Mokumo Oki. We look forward to the top books for 2013. It's time to have our guest reader for our Read Again initiative segment.
I think it also behoves on him to take steps.
A lot of Channels television viewers love to watch her do a thing every morning at 7. But the beauty of Maokwe Ogun's words flows from the pool of the mind that loves to read.
How important have books been to your career?
Books tell you almost everything. Almost is the key word there. Almost everything you need to know. The rest you get to learn from people. But the things that you find in books, you almost cannot find anywhere else.
How did you get into books?
My mother, I would say my mother, yes, to a large extent introduced me to books. She used to buy books right from when we were in primary school, and it just became a culture. She invested in them. Every holiday you had a new collection of books, and I went through them like that. I think that's how I discovered my love for books. So that's been it. I love the arts. When I mean the arts, I think I should be very specific. I love drama, I love dance, and I love to read. Those are the three arts I love. And fortunately, I studied English language. I did more of literature. I mean, it was just natural that I should tilt towards literature because I think it came as second nature for me.
Which is your favorite book?
That's the most difficult question. I do not have a favorite book, but I have lots of favorite books. I mean, there are books I can read over and over and over again. Like the book you're saying here, Wole Soyinka's Ake. It's a very battered copy, as you can see, because it's been read over and over again. I've also given some people to read because a host of people think that Wole Soyinka is difficult to read. But I think when they're introduced to this one, they begin to show an interest in, reading more of his works.
What is it about Ake that you like?
I love it for a number of reasons. It seems like, it's going through the mind of a child. But at the same time, you have to ask, was Wole Soyinka this organized, in his thoughts when he was growing up? Did he sit at some point and say, I can remember all of my childhood, let me put it down together? Because you're reading conversations you can immediately relate with. I mean, I can still relate with this because it's a traditional home setting. And the conversations, I think, are still as true as they were then as they are today.
Can you read a passage, an interesting passage from Ake?
Well, I hope it's interesting to whoever is listening, but on page 30, I find this conversation very hilarious. Starting from here, his mother says, "Now, Wole, tell me, what have your friends come for?" It was a strange question, but I replied, "We've come to eat birthday." "You came to eat birthday," she repeated. For some reason, Lawale and the others had already burst out laughing. Mother continued, "Do you realize that you and your friends will still be sitting in that parlor?" "But today is my birthday," I pointed out to her. Patiently, she explained, "No one is denying that. I had planned to cook something special tonight. You don't just invite people to come home without letting us know. How was I to know you were bringing friends? Now look at us rushing around. Your friends have been sitting there, nearly starving to death, and you say you brought them to eat birthday. You see, you have to let people know." Now, the birthday proved to be all that was expected once it had got over the one disappointing limitation. Birthday did not just happen, but needed to be reminded to happen. That aspect of its character bothered me for a while. It was a shortcoming for which I tried to find excuses without success. It was just, hilarious, and the fact that, the way he uses words here, his transliterating, I think in Yoruba that means Awaje birthday, So if you speak Yoruba, you possibly will have a deeper appreciation for how he's transliterated it here, because he says, we came to eat birthday. That's what it will literally translate to if you were to take a word-for-word translation of it.
She has been described as one of the most original, imaginative, and gifted fiction writers in Africa, and arguably the best of a generation.
What I do remember sometimes is the insults, and I had one, this young guy, he came up to me, we're talking about literature, and he said he didn't like a certain book, and I said, well, it wasn't so bad, and he said, well, I could say the same for your book, I didn't really like it either. And I was looking at him and I said, what if I said to him, I don't like your face?
Stay tuned next week for the award-winning Sefi Atta, only on Channels Book Club.
We have come to the end of today's episode. Please feel free to send us an email and follow us on Twitter. Thank you for watching.